Hello there everyone, this is Mark 3 and welcome back to Mindustry. Resource-based defensive operations. Well, that's probably the tagline or something, I don't know. Right, here we go. As you can see, the next wave is coming. At the end of last time, we actually managed to get some additional defensives sorted out. So we should be able to help out a little bit better. You know, I mean, we've only installed Gatling cannons as a defensive option. But we're trying to get our steel sorted out. But for now, we need to keep an eye on this. Oh, fast movers, they're trying to go around, but the Gatlings have a massive rate of fire. The problem is the enemy self-destructs and that blew up some of the walls. So, yeah. So yeah, they had an area effect death blast on those guys. So they were suiciders. They were just trying to run along the path of least resistance to get as deep as they could before getting killed. Luckily, the Gatlings were fast enough to properly deal with them. So yeah, okay, I need to hook into the stuff at the back. There we go. As you can see, the thing is trying to cope. There is some iron flowing in, but it's not balanced right now. But we are getting our first traces of steel starting to flow into the system. Where's the other mines? These are the other mines up here. Okay. So I just need to hook this in as well. And then this we know is load balanced because I counted out all of the involved mining systems, so this will allow the thing to operate at full efficiency, producing steel for every coal and iron ore delivered. However, we haven't hooked up the other end of the system yet. I'll trust those Gatling guns for the moment. Hopefully they'll be able to hold out. But anyway, we need to get this hooked in. And we'll go across there to do it. As you can see, our meager supply of steel is just backed up over there. I'm just going to let it keep on going. And this is what I mentioned, because now that's across there, and we can actually walk across it. So doing this potentially would allow access for the invaders to get through. So that's why I'm not doing it. I'm just trying to get into here. There we go. So now we have a steel belt coming in to deliver steel to us. Ah, steel. Unfortunately, this entire section is damaged, but I'm going to leave it in as a backup defense, really. It's like, if the enemy gets past the Gatlings, this is probably not going to stop them, but it beats demolishing it right now. You don't get things back, I think, if you demolish stuff. But all this is now running to try and deal with steel requirements, and we have got a flow of steel coming in. Have you guys held? You guys have held. Good. It was something slow. Now, the other thing is, steel should have... Yep, steel has allowed us to get a steel-class conveyor, which is just flat-out faster. So there we go. That was a choke point. I have now put a steel belt conveyor into it. Note that replacing the belts wipes out the resources that are on it, but that is now all running faster. Let's clean this out as well. And this one needs to get faster as well. As you can see, yeah, that's dealt with that bottleneck. It's now, and now look at the steel flow. It's actually getting too much steel. Darn it, I've got to replace the entire belt. All this steel, wasted. Oh well. But yeah, that is now flowing much faster because we've got just a flat-out better belt. Tunnels don't need to be upgraded, by the by. It's just like off they go. We need better defenses though. We need, let's see, we have got access to these flamer turrets and railgun turrets, which run off coal and steel respectively. So we can get some area effect splash or some high precision, longer range weaponry to help out. Let's see, what do we have? We have, well, to get a railgun battery up, we need to supply it, of course, with steel. There is a small coal deposit nearby. I think I'll tap into this coal up here then. This is going to be slow loading. But I want a smelter. I'll put it there. And then I'll put in routers along this path to load into the rails. Put one there as well. Oh, we've got massive flame damage incoming. Those guys are just spraying shots all over the place, and as you can see, the iron walls are just melting. Luckily, the Gatlings are still strong enough to deal with it, but yeah, those walls just melted. We need coal supply for that. which I think is going to have to come from up here, actually. Let's tap 3 drills, for now. 3 drills. 3 drills to feed the railguns. Or try to, anyway. And then we run this down here, because I've diverted, like... I put a route on that, so that means I'm splitting the iron output from this section, 50-50, into the railguns and the other stuff. Yeah, into the railguns and the Gatlings. But I'm going to delete the walls because we've got better material. We've got steel, which allows us to build steel wall, and our first large steel wall, which is like... which is actually a 4 block, but it's got 4 times the health. The advantage is that that means it won't blow up until the enemy's done 4 times the damage to it. Though the problem is when it dies, of course, it takes out like an entire section, so it's like, yeah. So there we go, thicker walls are going in. And these railguns are getting some ammo to help. If the enemy enemy wanders past this line, the railguns will just start to shoot at them. So that should be helpful. The only issue is they've got very slow loading on their ammo because they're not really hooked to anything. So it sucks to be you guys, basically. Right. On that cheery thought, let's see what's next. Can we get power systems? We can get some power systems. We can get coal power plant, thermal gens. So yeah, we can tap the lava pools for a power source. I've never seen the pocket of oil, so I'm not sure which maps they appear on. Yep, there go the railguns. The railguns are having some really heavy dakka. As you can see, those walls are trying to withstand it quite nicely. However, even so, these walls are not going to do too well for too long. So, we need iron and steel to build repair turrets. We can build a repair turret 1. We can actually press question mark here to check things out. Health, power capacity. The power stats are a bit iffy. They're not exactly conductive, but if I build a line of repair turrets behind here, they can reach that layer of walls. Okay, so that line can repair any of these walls in front of them. Just. The problem is that the repair turrets are a power system. That's why they're under the power tab. And as I mentioned, that's an issue. So, we need to generate a power supply for it. How do we do that? We will be using... Since coal is a bit of a shortage right now in this area, I am going to use a thermal generator, which I will put down here. Thermal gen needs to be fed with lava. For that, I require resource extraction. I can get a basic pump because that requires steel. And I will put it here. So that will be trying to pump lava. Then I need a conveyor. The basic conduit, also a steel level tech. And that will supply a flow of lava to this thing. And this thing is now building up power reserve. The yellow bar is stored inventory. So that is generating and storing power. So far so good. That railgun battery is so useful. I'm glad I installed that. Okay, right, now we need to get this down to the repair turrets. So, we're going to extend our power system. Now, you notice there was those bars, right? That shows directions where this can generate a power laser. Power is transferred by lasers, and they go to an item that claims it, or they can go to a transmitter. I believe it is it 4 gap they can take? Yeah, there we go. So actually that's a live power beam, so it's bright. And now that's feeding power into this transmitter, which will route it further. By the way, you can run under these without any issue. The problem is you can't stack them with other power-using structures. So now I'm working on this laser chain to get my power down to where I want it to be. One, two, three, four... No, there. So that's what an unpowered one looks like. So that's powered up, then it's flowing all the way along, then it's backing up as the individual transmitters build up charge. So that's all that. Now, I can feed lasers directly into all of these, and that will be a massive power boost for them. Oh, the devastation. So these guys could take a power laser directly. So as you can see, and now that's feeding power directly from the entire chain into just that turret. And maintaining a full power, and it's now working on fixing things. That's not what I want to do though. Because I've got a lot of towers here, And honestly, the power generation on this system is kind of poor right now. So what I'm going to use is these things called a power booster. It's like a turret, but it distributes power to nearby things. If I wanted a more reliable power system, I would try to hard plug every single darn one of these turrets. But lasers can't go through walls or mountains or things like that. So instead, I'm going to evenly space these power boosters. Then I'm going to use beam splitters to split the power from the laser everywhere. And as you can see, it's now flickering because it's not reliable. So it's only reliably feeding this, which is reliably feeding the ones down here. But then here is where they're active, so that it's depleting power here. So it's not really getting down to this section yet. But this section is not drawing any extra power, except for this one, which is reaching that one there. So that's what's going on there, and they are trying to work on it. So yeah, pretty nice, huh? I do like this. But as you see, the entire thing's flickering now because the entire reserve that was in the entire section, the entire thing's drained basically. So the power that was stored in the generator has been depleted, so now this is running as fast as the single lava generator can supply it, which is not that great, quite honestly. So we need better power. We've got resources, we can upgrade our power plants. Yep, that's going just fine. Those blue flashes you saw, by the way, there wasn't a really good way to see them there, but they were doing that because they were EMP bursts, which saps power from things they hit. Unfortunately for them, all of my powered structures are in the back line back here, so it didn't do a darn thing. Anyway, something else to note here. This is what happens if you feed two power lines. They clash from between two generators, and I don't believe they transfer power either. So let us go ahead and feed in a laser there, so that's connected to that. That's just glowing brightly. But those ones are trying to act up. What I need though is liquid router. So I need to get this all working. So liquid router is the same as a standard router, however, they are noticeably less efficient, so you want to try to avoid using them. If you want a direct flow of liquid going somewhere, you really shouldn't be using liquid routers, quite honestly. They are a bit temperamental. What I need now is some more pumps. I need to pump out the lava. That should be more than enough. I should be overloading my conduit with that. Yep, that's overloaded it a bit. And then it's all flowing into the routers, and then it's like a small trickles coming down to this side. And the generators are trying to power up, but they're not doing a very good job of it. But as you can see, that entire section there is now fixed, so the power is just being shunted over this way. Honestly, liquid routers are one of the few bad points of this game that I've come across. It's like, it's more efficient to just run a single conduit to each individual thing, I think. Let's try that. So, pump, pump, pump. Oh look, those guys are actually really happy about it. Though of course they're not hooked in because they're not transferring power to that guy, so power should be transferred all the way down. Oh yeah, fear the railguns. Unfortunately that one at the end there was not fixed in time, so it's actually broken. Right. So, to do this, I just need to put in some more relay lasers, like so. And now, all of that's glowing really brightly. It's a brightly lit power plant. And those three are generating all of their power into the beams to supply the systems down here. Let us quickly go ahead and do some silly convoluted stuff. Like this. Just so that we can get the other three operating as well. So do like that. Nope, that was a bit too far. And then of course we just need the 3 pumps to get more lava out of it. There we go. So that is an arrangement feeding into a sextet of lava power generators, which dump into a power transfer laser, which transfers the power all the way down to this defensive wall, or in this case, in this particular wall, it is feeding repair systems, which will help repair the things. What happens if I put one here, actually? Okay, they can help from that row as well. Good. So I can actually reinforce the power of the repair system. So there we go. And now that it's not required, it is spazzing out as it just recharges all of these new turrets. And because, you know, it's going here, and then it's being diverted into these two, and then those are just draining it all. And now, these are starting to be filled up. So that is now trying to relay, I think, through that. I don't know if they can affect each other, actually. Can they? This needs to be checked. Okay, what happens if I put a relay here? No. These power boosters can't power each other. They can only power other things. But yeah, as you can see, I've got a lot of repair lasers arranged around the place, so they are just trying to help the walls stop what's coming. So this is actually a pretty basic mid-game setup now that's running okay. The problem is I need more resources, of course. There's always the quest for more resources. Right. So I've got all this. For the next tier of resources, though, we require titanium. We can do something about that straight away, though. Because we've got titanium drills already, that required steel, which we've actually got in abundance now. As you see, we've got about 2,000 steel. And we have a titanium patch right over here next to our main starting zone. We can get 6 out of that quite reasonably, so we are going to do so. So this is one of the sources of steel. Sorry, source of titanium. That's running down there. This entire section is obsolete now. If something got past the other section, then this section would not withstand it, so we can clean that out. We don't need it. We can install a more powerful backup defense down here, actually. And I think I'll do that for next episode. Oh my. These drills are actually feeding enough to keep this entire track... No, wait, this is all stone track. So this is just condensing it all. Okay, never mind. We've got some uranium down here, which we don't need right now. We don't need coal outright to build anything. The only thing we need coal for, actually, is to build our flamethrower. Our personal flamethrower. Other than that, we don't actually need a supply of coal to our main base. By the way, you can't take stuff out of your stockpile, from what I've seen. But yeah, there's more processing options which will let us get more stuff. But this is the power plant feeding to this repair line, doing all that. Can we afford... Yeah, now that we've got titanium flowing in, we can actually afford the next tier of turrets anyway, which is laser-based stuff, which runs on power supply. We can get laser turrets and flak turret. Well, actually, flak turret's a coal one. But basically, that's a splash damage turret, uses coal. Very slow rate of firing bullets, but very high single target and splash damage. Useful for large crowds. So this is like an anti-crowd turret. The other one is one that's a power-based one, the laser turret, which is single target, all around. Never misses though. So because it's like instantly hits. So the thing is though, it's got a shorter range than the Gatlings which we've been using. Only slightly shorter, but it's still shorter. So what I'm thinking is I'll pull out some of these, then I'll put in some lasers as a closer-in defensive option. So we've got some single-target lasers available as well. But as I said, I'm going to have to call it there. We've just passed the 20-minute mark. So this has been Iron Mark 3, and this has been Mindustry. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I'll catch you all some other time. Yes, indeed. See you all later.